So we're back, we're talking FF7, we're talking Rebirth, and today we have the official ESRB rating for the game, something we kind of talked about recently with the Butterfinger collab, where we'd had it actually shown to us that it was a T rating, but why it was T rated, but now we have the official, like, paragraph description from the ESRB for why the game's rated what it is. When it comes to this channel, at least, we always look at these when it comes to whatever game I'm covering on my channel or talking about, and I haven't looked at it yet, but I do know some stuff. I've seen, like, some headlines, I think from, like, IGN, talking about, like, Pools of Blood, Deep Cleavage, I think something about, like, Aerith's fate, but also I've seen some other headline talking about, like, a character being stabbed, which is related to that, technically. I think I caught a glimpse of, like, the end of the ESRB when I was scrolling on Twitter, and I seen the word prick, like, blanked out or whatever. Like, that's, I guess, one of the words used in this game. But that's kind of all I know about it, so let's hop into it. So for starters, of course, the game is rated T for teen, not really surprised. Probably going to be the entire trilogy rated T for teen, and the reasons for that are the same as they were with the Butterfinger image. But let's hop into the rating summary. This is an action role-playing game in which players follow the story of a mercenary, Cloud Strife, on a quest to save the planet from evil. Players explore fantasy landscapes, perform missions, and battle monsters and soldiers in frenetic melee combat. Characters use swords, staves, guns, and magic spells to fight monsters and human soldiers. Combat is highlighted by impact sounds, cries of pain, and explosions. Cutscenes depict further instances of violence, sometimes with splatters / pools of blood, characters impaled or slashed by swords, sometimes with slow motion effects, an assassin throwing a spinning blade at a targeted figure, characters shot by soldiers. Some female characters are designed with revealing outfits, e.g., Deep Cleavage. Suggestive dialogue sometimes accompanies camera panning / close-ups of characters' bodies, outfits, e.g., just admit it, you're obviously captivated by my bodacious beach bod. What the fuck? The game contains some alcohol content, as Cloud players can drink a version of Moonshine while at a bar. Cutscenes sometimes feature drunk characters slurring their speech. A handful of scenes depict characters smoking cigars or out of hookahs. The words shit, asshole, and prick appear in the game. Honestly, kind of not a lot of info came from that. I feel like every other ESRB I've ever read on the channel has given us more, like, information on the game itself. Something that's missing from this, I feel like, is depiction of, like, suicide a little bit, like a dying. Assuming we're going to Gold Saucer, there should be the dying segment, and dying would be throwing himself off a cliff. I don't know if that's something. I feel like that's something they'd put it as a warning, though, right? Somebody killing themselves is kind of a big deal, so that has me a little bit worried. We're just kind of hitting this ESRB in order. The first thing that's worth talking about, because the first couple sentences don't necessarily matter, it's just gameplay stuff, is like the characters being like impaled or slashed by swords and like splatters of blood and pools of blood. A lot of people were going to the impaled by sword thing as Aerith, which makes a lot of sense, but also you got to remember the knee bomb incident. Cloud gets stabbed by Sephiroth. We've seen it in the Crisis Core Union. If people that have never played FF7 or Crisis Core, that had been the first time they would have seen it. Cloud gets stabbed by Sephiroth, like through the chest or whatever, right? So like that's another instance. So it doesn't necessarily mean this is about Aerith, but that is a thing it could be. And people being slashed by swords, the only thing that comes to mind is Tifa that we've seen in like the Summer Game Fest trailer or whatever trailer it was, where at the end like Sephiroth hits her and like the blood flying to the screen. Some people try to argue that it's like fabric or her hair flying at the screen, but there's a red tinge to it. It's got to be blood. You're going to say that there's splatters of blood and pools of blood, but splatters of blood could come from like a lot of different things. That could be from the Tifa slash, that could be from the impaling of Cloud by Sephiroth. But pools of blood is a little interesting. That's like a kind of an excessive amount of blood. If there's a pool of blood on the ground, like somebody's gotten fucked up. So I don't know what that's from exactly. That could be from Aerith. That could be from Cloud as well. There could be a pool of blood from Sephiroth hitting Tifa. I don't know exactly. Maybe a pool of blood below the Midgar Zalem if we had that thing impaled on a tree by Sephiroth. I don't know. It could be a lot of things. Exciting though. I also say like an assassin throwing like a spinning blade at a targeted figure, and I'm not entirely sure what that'd be. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Yuffie because of her weapon, but she does throw it, but she also kind of melees with it, and it's not really like an assassin sort of weapon. Like you wouldn't be stealthily killing somebody with her big ass like shuriken thing that she uses or whatever it's called. So I don't know what that is. We do see like the cloaked figure kind of like almost stalking Rufus in the trailer and Junon, right? And it seems like that almost seems like somebody that would try to like stealthily kill somebody, like an assassin that looks like an assassin a little bit. So I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. And that person might not even be trying to kill Rufus, but that's just something that came to mind. They're then also going to say that we're seeing characters shot by soldiers, and it's not like just them shooting at them, like they're being shot. Bullets are hitting them. The only thing I can think of that comes to mind from that is Zack's death. Like we see him get gunned down in OGFF7. We see him get gunned down in Crisis Core. And I've been talking for a long time about like Cloud learning the truth in this game, in the second remake game, right? We know that he knows Zack because of the Japanese trailer or whatever. He says Zack's name. So it's possible Cloud might remember what happened, Zack being gunned down, and maybe that's where the pools of blood comes from, because there is pools of blood on the ground from the Crisis Core like death scene, so maybe. Then talk about women in like revealing outfits, and they give an example of some woman saying something about her bodacious beach bod, which that's got to be Costa del Sol. Like what else would it be? We're always going to go there. It's be women in bikinis, and I guess maybe if you talk to some of the women, they'll say something about the damn beach bod. Maybe I just hope Hojo's there. It doesn't make sense. Our characters should want to kill him the instant they see them, but he does give like a bit of like good exposition there in the original game, talking about kind of teasing the reunion stuff with Cloud and kind of gives us the idea to head west and all that other shit, right? So I kind of hope he's there just for the memes of it. I also then mentioned alcohol, and that at a particular bar, Cloud can drink Moonshine, which generally speaking, Moonshine is something that's like homebrew, somebody made themselves or whatever because they don't have any other options. So the first thing that comes to mind for me for that is Corel, and it's either North Corel. I don't remember if any of the tents in that little village have like a bar. I just don't remember off the top of my head, but Corel Prison for sure, there's 100% a bar. I can see them making like Moonshine down there in Corel Prison, so that's my guess for now. Obviously, when it comes to Moonshine, like that's something people can make like normally, and you can sell it normally. It's not just always bootleg made in like a shack in the woods or whatever the fuck. But generally, that's kind of what you see it and how it's depicted in media, right? But I can't imagine like a Costa del Sol. There's a bar there. I don't think they would sell Moonshine there, but maybe, I guess. I'm gonna come back and add this too. When it comes to Moonshine, if it's like homebrew Moonshine in the game, it could be kind of like any sort of like pour location, and that could be like lower Junon too, like or under Junon, I think is what it's called now. And I guess it technically could be anywhere. They could be homebrew and Moonshine anywhere. It doesn't even matter. I don't want to put too much emphasis on it. Who gives a shit? So then followed that by saying that there's like scenes of drunk people like slurring their speech or something. But like, okay, I don't know. Where's that at? I don't know. But they followed that by saying that there's also like scenes of like, people smoking cigars or out of hookahs. And I don't know where the fuck a hookah would be anywhere in FF7. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Maybe Junon, because it's kind of like a Midgar, like a modern day city. Maybe there's like an establishment where somebody's like, you can go to like a hookah bar or something. I don't know exactly. Cigars, some people were saying Sid, which I guess makes sense, but at least with OG FF7, Sid smokes cigarettes. At least that's like, it is literally in his character art. Maybe they changed it to cigars or something. I don't know. And finally, the game says, I guess the words shit, asshole, and prick. That's part of the rating. Unfortunately, I was hoping that there would be like, they'd try to get away with using the word fuck. I don't know if you can use the word fuck in a T-rated game, but like with like a PG-13 movie, which is sort of the equivalent, you can get away with one use of that word, right? And I was kind of hoping that that'd be here, but it's not in the ESRB. And if you look at something like Final Fantasy XVI's ESRB, they'll tell you if the word fuck's in the game. I don't even know if you can get away with one of them in a T-rated game. I was just kind of hoping. It would just be cool because just to give like maybe like Sid like the one F-bomb if you can do that in like a T-rated game, and unfortunately it seems to not be the case. Kind of like excessive language when it comes to remaking something I really appreciated as an adult, but also just because like that makes the dialogue feel real. Like when something crazy happens and somebody goes, "Oh shit!" Like that's what I want to hear. I don't want them to be like, "Oh darn," "Oh dang it." Like I want them to talk like real actual adults and humans talk. That's kind of it, man. Like I said before, I feel like other ESRBs we've read have given us a little more description of the game. We still got some interesting little details from this, whatever. Going back to the dying thing, I could be wrong on that. I just feel like in the paragraph, they'd warn for suicide because it's like Dine's like mentally messed up, depressed. Once he learns the truth of Marlene, that she's still alive, he wants to like kill himself and shit. I feel like they put a warning there. Depiction of suicide, whatever. I don't know what the line would be exactly. And I could be wrong. I don't know. I just feel like that's what they'd do. This has me a little bit worried just because it is my favorite scene from FF7. Maybe I just don't know if they're going to depict that the right way. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe they change Dine's fate. Maybe he doesn't have to die this time. I don't know what they're going to do. I just wanted to talk about it. The only other thing that's kind of a standout from this description, I suppose, is the blood thing. There's the pools of blood and the splatters of blood. That's something we were all wanting and missing from the remake project. It kind of sucks that they didn't have it in FF7. I feel like if they could do pools of blood in Rebirth, why could we not have done like a little bit of a trail of blood with the Genova stuff? And then like whenever Crisis Core Union came out, and like I literally verbally laughed, and I think I bitched about it on Twitter. Whenever like Sephiroth stabs Cloud and there's fucking smoke coming out of his chest. It's like the dumbest looking shit ever. And I just don't ever want to see anything like that again when it comes to Remake Project. You didn't even have to have blood in that moment. Just have him like stab Cloud and that's it. Like you didn't have to do the smoky thing. I don't know if they did the smoky thing to like cover up the stab to make it like less graphic. I don't know why they did it. It was just fucking stupid. Also had smoke coming out of like President Shinra's chest when he gets stabbed by Sephiroth at the end of Remake, right? So it had to be like a cover up the violence sort of thing. I don't entirely know. There's my Roku remote. Dudes, that is going to be the video. Subscribe to if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me to _YT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more. And nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.